presentation video. Today, our group will be sharing our discussion on a sociolinguistic topic. Before we begin, let me introduce myself first. My name is Zavia Azzahra and my SIN number is 023 and I'm from 2028 class. First, let me explain the definition of sociolinguistic. So, sociolinguistic is the study of the relationship between language and society. It examines how social factors such as age, gender, education, culture, profession, and social status influence the way people use language. In sociolinguistics, language is not only seen as a system of grammar and vocabulary, but also as a social tool for communication. People often adjust the way they speak depending on the situation and the person they are talking to. For example, students usually use more formal language when they speaking to teacher or lecturer, but they tend to use more casual style when talking with friends. Sociolinguistics also studies language variations, such as dialect, sociolect, communication style, code switching, and slang. Through those studies, research can better understand how language reflects identity, culture, and social relationship within a community.
Hello everyone, my name is Shaleeha Kusuma and I will be teaching you guys about idealect, idea style, and sociolect in applied linguistics. Let's move on. Okay, so first of all, the definition of the topic. First, idealect is the unique way an individual uses language. It includes personal vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, and speaking habits that make someone's language different from others. Meanwhile, idea style refers to the distinctive stylistic features used by a person, especially in writing or artistic expression. It focuses more on creative or stylistic language choices. And then there's sociolect. Sociolect is a language variety used by a particular social group. It can be influenced by social class, age, occupation, education, or community. The topic discusses how these three concepts are connected, but different in linguistics and sociolinguistics. Moving on to the important aspects of the topic. First, individual versus social language use. Idealect focuses on the individual speaker. Sociolect focuses on groups of speakers. And idea style focuses on artistic or expressive language style. These concepts help linguists understand how language changes depending on identity, society, and communication purposes. Moving on to the linguistic features. These concepts can be analyzed through pronunciation or phonology, grammar, vocabulary, sentence structure, and stylistic choices. Different linguistic levels show how a person or a social group communicates. Third of all, social and psychological factors. Language is often very heavily influenced by social background, education, culture, profession, personality, and communication goals. For example, teenagers may use slangs differently from adults. This shows how different sociolect is. Fourth, there is prestige and quality in applied linguistics. In this article, it explains how academic journals in applied linguistics are viewed differently based on prestige, quality, impact factor, and citation counts, or acceptance rates. The researchers often choose journals carefully because publication affects academic careers. Fifth, there is bibliometric analysis. Bibliometric analysis studies publication data such as citations, journal rankings, publication trends, and collaboration patterns. This helps researchers understand which journals are influential in applied linguistics. Moving on to relevant examples. First, let's give an example for idiolect. A person always says, honestly speaking, before giving opinions. That repeated special phrase becomes part of their personal language identity. And then there is an example of ideal style. An author, like William Shakespeare, uses poetic metaphors and dramatic expressions, which creates a recognizable writing style. And then for an example of social act, gamers often use words such as GG, AFK, noob, or etc. And these expressions belong to the sociolect of online gaming community. Last of all, I'll be describing and explaining you guys the two journals that I have picked. So this journal examines the differences and relationships between idiolect, ideostyle, and sociolect. And in that study, it concludes that an idiolect is individual, sociolect is collective, and ideostyle emphasizes expressive creativity. Next is this journal. This journal explored how applied linguistics journals are perceived in terms of prestige and quality. And in that journal, it finds that journal prestige is heavily influenced by citation counts, publication practices, research methods, and academic reputation.
Hello everyone! My name is Ahmad Zahroni Irwansyah, and today I'm going to explain two topics from sociolinguistics. There are speech style and style shifting, and also register and jargon. But before we begin, have you ever noticed that you speak differently when talking to your friends and when talking to your teacher? Most people do, right? This happens because language is closely connected to the society. Sociolinguistic is the study of the relationship between language and society. It helps us understand why people use different language in different situations. Now, let's start with the first topic. Speech style is the way people speak in different situations. We do not always speak in the same way. Sometimes we use a formal language, and sometimes we use informal language. Formal language is usually used in serious situations, such as presentations, interviews, or when talking to the teachers. Informal language is more relaxed and is commonly used with the friends and a family. The change from one style to another is called style shifting. For example, a student may say, "Hey bro, where are you going?" when talking to a friend. However, the same student might say, "Good morning, sir. May I ask questions?" when talking to a teacher. This change happens because people adjust their language according to the situation and the listener. According to the William Leboy, people often change their speech style in a formal situations to sound more careful and polite. Another study by Holmes and Wilson in 2017 found that people often adjust their speech style to match the person they are talking to. Now, let's move to the second topic, register and jargon. Register is language style used in specific situations, professions, or a topic. Different professions use different language style because they have a different communication needs. For example, doctor use medical language, lawyers use legal language, and teacher use educational language. One important part of register jargon. Jargon is a special vocabulary used by a particular profession or group. Usually, people outside the group may not understand these words. For example, doctors use terms such as arthritis and anti-inflammatory drug. Teachers may use words such as curriculum and assessment. Lawyers may use terms such as plaintiff and witness stands. According to Bieber and Conrad, register change depending on the purpose, audience, and the situation. Another study by Widowski explained that spatial vocabulary can help people feel connected to their group and a profession. Before ending this presentation, let's briefly review what we have learned today. First, we learned about speech style and style shifting. Speech style is the way people speak in the different situations, while style shifting is the process of changing our speaking style according to the listener or the situations. We also learned that people do not always use the same language style. Sometimes we use a formal language and sometimes we use informal language. This depends on factors such as age, social status, education, and our relationship with other people. Second, we learned about register and jargon. Register is a language style used in a specific situation, topic, or profession. Meanwhile, jargon is a spatial vocabulary used by a particular group of professions. For example, doctors, teachers, and lawyers all use different language style and spatial terms in their work. This language varieties help communication become more effective within a particular field. From these topics, we can understand that language is not only about grammar and vocabulary. Language is also influenced by society and the people around us. Every day, we use sociolinguistics without realizing it. We change the way we speak when talking to friends, teacher, parents, or other people. We also use different words depending on the situation and the purpose of communication. Therefore, sociolinguistics helps us understand how language works in real life and why people communicate in different ways. To conclude, speech style, style shifting, register, and jargon show that language is closely connected to society. People change the way they speak depending on who they are talking to in the situation they are in. Different professions are also use different language styles and vocabulary to communicate more effectively.
According to these studies, sociolinguistic research shows a strong connection between language diversity, social engagement, and identity in modern society. One example of this language diversity is slang, which has become increasingly people, especially among young people or teenagers. So the next one is slang. Slang is a type of informal language commonly used by specific groups, especially teenagers and young adults. It usually develops from everyday conversation and is influenced by popular culture, including music, movies, video games, and social media. Unlike formal language, slang is creative, expressive, and constantly changing. People use slang to communicate in a more relaxed way, express their identity, and create a sense of belonging with their social groups. Some popular slang terms today include slay, risk, sigma, no cap, and spill the tea. For example, the phrase "your outfit is slaying today" means that someone's outfit looks very stylish or impressive. The word risk refers to a person's charm ability to attract others. Meanwhile, sigma is often used to describe someone who is independent and confident. From a sociolinguistic perspective, slang is considered a form of language variation because different social groups develop and use different expressions. Social media platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, and X play an important role in spreading slang quickly across different communities and countries.
So thank you very much for your attention. I hope this presentation helps you understand social linguistics better and encourage you to observe how language is used in every daily life. So have a wonderful day. Goodbye.